Hello friends, welcome to Selenium Web Driver interview question and answer part 2. So in my first video, I have covered 25 questions from automation interview as well as from Selenium Web Driver. So here I will cover another set of 25 questions from Selenium Web Driver. Thank you all for watching my videos. In case you are enjoying my videos and learning automation testing and Java, please like and share my videos. Do not forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notification as and when I will upload a new video. Please do not forget to provide your valuable comment for any input or suggestion. Stay tuned for my next video. So in this video, I will discuss about 25 questions, which is part 2. In part 1 already 25 covered. So these questions are specifically from Selenium Web Driver. What are the API commands we can use for a browser using Selenium Web Driver? There are a lot of commands is there. First one is get, right? Whenever we want to navigate to a particular web page, so we need to use the get method, right? Available in the Selenium Web Driver, right? So you can see driver.get and need to pass the URL so that that particular web page will open. And if you want to close the focus browser only, then you need to use the close method. Suppose you have multiple browser open, right? But if you want to close the only the focus browser, then you need to use the close method, right? Driver.close. And in case if you want to close all the browsers whatever open during the whatever text execution, all the browsers, so you need to use the quit, so it will close all the browsers. So that is the basic difference between close and quit. So close only close the focus browser, whereas quit will close all the browsers which are opened by the WebDriver during test execution. If you want to navigate from one URL to another URL, you need to use the navigate to. After opening the suppose URL, right? Google, if you want to go to the URL or ready URL, so you need to navigate to, right? Driver.navigate.to, and then you need to provide the URL. Once you navigate to a particular URL, again you want to navigate back, right? To the previous URL, you need to use the navigate.back, right? Divert.navigate.back. So it will back you to the previous URL. Again, if you want to forward it, right? So you need to use the navigate.forward method to move a single item forward in the browser history. If you suppose if your page particular not loaded fully and if you want to refresh the page, so you need to use the navigate.refresh methods, right? To refresh the content of the current web page. If you want to maximize the browsers, because whenever Selenium opens the browser, it is not in the maximize mode, right? So you need to first maximize it, then you need to pass the URL. So manage.window.maximize, that particular method you need to use it, right? Driver.manage.window.maximize to maximize the focus browser. What are the different web page operations available in Selenium Web Driver? So for Selenium Web Driver, you can get the title, you can get the page source, you can get the current URL. So if you want to get the title of the current browser, you need to use the get title method, right? Suppose if you're opening a page and then if you want to get the title, so you can store it in string and you can print it out, so the title will print it, right? If you want to page source also get page source for the current focus browser, you need to use the get page source method. So after passing the URL of, you need to declare a variables and which will be string type. You need to store the page source, divert.get page source, and then you can print it or you can use it later point of time. If you want to get the current URL of the focus browser, you need to use the get current URL method. So after opening it, you need to store it in string, okay, get current URL, then you can use it or you can print it whatever you require. What are the different web edit operations available in Selenium Web Driver? So you know, right, whenever we are dealing with the web edit, right, it will be editable mode, so we can pass some keys in, enter some data. So using the sendKeys method to enter a value in the editable text box, right? First we need to identify the element, divert.find element by it can be ID, it can be, right, name, CSS, Xpath, like that. You need to provide the element details and dot send key, and then you need to enter the details. So that is the text, it will be entered in the text box. And if you after entering, if you want to clear all this thing or remove all the details from the text box, so you need to use the clear method to clear already entered value in the editable text box. So that is the syntax, divert.find element. Once the element is found, and whatever value is entered already, if you want to clear it, dot clear method you need to use it. Suppose there are a lot of different web element is there. It can be web edit box, it can be link, it can be checkbox, it can be radio button. So for the click one, for the link one, these are the three operations or methods can be performed. First one is if you want to click a link, so you need to use the click method, right? So first you need to identify the element, right, using the maybe id, name, CSS, but then you need to click the part because it is a link, right? Obviously we can click it. And also we can check whether the particular link is enabled or not using the isEnable method. In case it is enabled, so it will give you the true or else false. And if you want to verify whether the particular link is displayed or not, so first before clicking on that, obviously you need to verify whether it is displayed or not. If it is displayed and enabled only, then you can click it, right? Otherwise it will not allow you to click it. First condition is should be displayed, then second condition should be enabled, then obviously it will be clickable. So to check if the element is displayed or not, so you need to use the is displayed method, right? First you need to identify the element, then is displayed. If it is displayed, it will give you true, or if it is not displayed, it will give you the false boolean variables, boolean value. What are the different operations available for a checkbox? Similar like of right, link. Also we can click, right, so that any checkbox will be selected or unselected. If you want to display it, checkbox displayed it is displayed method. Whether we need to check whether it is enabled or not, right? We need to check it through isEnable methods, and whether we need to check whether the checkbox is already checked or not. So isSelected method can be used to verify whether the checkbox is selected or not. So first we need to, right, identify the element using any locator techniques, and then we need to use the isSelected method, and you can store it and boolean variables, and it will be either display or true or false, right? What is frame? You already notice in different web pages, right? There is some lot of frame is there, right? Suppose under the web page there is a frame, and within the frame there is an inner frame, right? So suppose some ad, right? It will be in the embedded form, right? So frame is a web page which is embedded in another web page, or an HTML document embedded inside another HTML document. The frame is often used to insert content from another source, such an advertisement into a web page. The frame tag specifies the frame. How we can identify it in case any frame is available in the web page? First, you need to open the application using IE, Chrome or Firefox. You need to press F12 button from the keyboard. Then if you press Ctrl F to search with the word iframe, right? If any frame is available, you can find it. In case no frame is available, there will be no result will be displayed. So that's why you can check whether a frame is already available or not in any web page. So in case any web page's frame is available, so you can't perform normal operation. First you need to handle it to the frame, then only after you enter into the frame, then you can perform the operation. So to switch between frame, you have to use the driver switch to .frame command. We can use the switch to .frame in the below mentioned way. If you know the frame number, right, or if you know the frame ID, right, so you can do switch to. So switch to frame number, pass the frame index, and driver will switch to that frame. Similarly, if you know the ID or name, you can pass the frame element name or ID, and the driver will switch to the frame. Once you switch to that frame, then you can perform the operation for that frame. Otherwise, in case any frame is available, and if you are not switching to the frame, and if you want to perform operation, so object will not be identifiable, though you are getting the element, right, through Xpath ID, but object will not be identifiable when running the code. So first you need to switch the frame, then after that you need to perform the operation for the element available under the frame. How you can handle drop-down list using Selenium Web Driver? Drop-down is, you know, right? Suppose for any drop-down, state drop-down, there will be a large list of state will be available for a particular country, right? So if you handle this drop-down, so it will not be normally handled. So Selenium already provides select class that has some predefined method for handling drop-down, which help a lot during working with the drop-down. To handle drop-down and multi-select list in Selenium, we need to use the following select method, right? So in the drop-down also you need to select multiple drop-down, right? Okay. Suppose there is a drop-down animals, right? That can be elephant, tiger, lion. But if you want to select multiple drop-down, you can select it using the select class, right? So first one is select by visible text method. Select an option by display text. Select by index method. Select an option by its index, because it Value dropdown value should have index and value and right display text. So these are the three things should be available for each and every visible text. Or select by value method. Select an option by the value of its value attribute. Okay. Similarly, after the selection is done, also you can deselect it, right? Similar deselect is possible by visible text method, index method, value method, or also in case multiple selection already done, so you can deselect all methods so that it will be deselect all previously selected options. So that is the syntax, right? First you need to use the select class available in the Selenium WebDriver. They need to declare a variables. Then new select and need to pass the particular element details, element located, right? ID, name, CSS like that. Then once the object is created using the select class, so you can use select by value, right? Select by visible text, right? Or select by index, whatever will be available for that particular option. And you can select multiple thing also at the same time. So if you want to select multiple values, you can select it one by one. Okay. And similarly, if you want to deselect it, you can deselect it. Right? Once the selection is done. What is alert and how you can handle alert using Selenium WebDriver? As alert is a small message box which display on screen notification to give the user some kind of information or asks for permission to perform certain kind of operation. It may be used also warning purpose. Alert interface provides the below few methods which are widely used in Selenium WebDriver. So what is alert? Suppose whenever you are opening any login page, right? Suppose it's ready. There will be username, password, and there will be some sign in button, right? Suppose you already entered the username, but you did not enter the password, and you are clicking on the sign in button, so it will throw some alert, right? That your password is empty. Password you are yet to enter the password. So in case any alert is present, so that particular pop-up cannot be right for I mean element identification cannot be done using the CSS ID like that, right? Okay, or Xpath. You can't create or highlight the element. So for that you need to use the alert interface, whatever already available in the Selenium WebDriver. And in the alert interface, there are a lot of methods there. One is dismiss, accept, get text, send keys. So if you use that void dismiss, so it will click on the cancel button. So for any alert, there will be some text, but right text message, right? And there will be some input box where I can pass some input, right? Suppose one alert is that please enter your age, right? So you have to enter your age. After enter your age, you need to click on the OK button. If you do not enter your age, you need to click on the cancel button, right? So when you dismiss, you want to dismiss it, you need to, divert.switch to .alert.dismiss, so that will cancel the alert. If you want to accept the alert, divert.switch to .alert.accept. If you want to get the text of the alert message, so you need to divert.switch to .alert.get text. Then you need to store it some other variable, string variable. Then you need to use the string variable as an record. You can print it out also. And if you want to send some values, so you need to use divert.switch to .alert send keys. Here you need to send some keys, right? Suppose enter your age, so you need to enter your numeric age, right? And after that you need to click on the OK button, right? So if you are entering and you are accepting it, so that particular text will be right entered and alert will be handled. What is the difference between implicit wait and explicit wait? Implicit waits are used to provide a default waiting time between each consecutive test steps or command across the entire test script. Thus, the subsequent test step would only execute when that have elapsed after executing the previous test step command. Explicitly wait is used to pause the execution until the particular condition is met or a maximum time has elapsed, right? Explicitly wait are applied for a particular instance only. So what does it mean implicitly wait? Suppose there is a web page, right? And if you want to load all the element into the web page, so you have to use the implicit wait. So if you are entering implicit wait, so it will wait for that particular time. It can be 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. So it will wait that time. After that, operation will be performed. But explicitly wait, suppose in a particular web page, you need to only click on a particular web element, right? So obviously you should use the explicitly wait, because as and when that particular web element is visible or loaded, and that operation will be performed, right? And you don't need to wait for the timeout, infinite timeout, 10 seconds to 20 seconds like that. So as and when the element is visible, so it will wait. In case it is not visible, so it will wait for the total time. Okay. So syntax for implicit wait, divert.manage.timeout implicit wait, and you need to provide the timer unit dot second, and here you need to provide a second. And for explicit timeout, you need to use the WebDriver wait, right, class available. You need to create an object, and you need to use the new WebDriver divert to timeout. And then web element any is there, and you need to give the condition, right? suppose you want the web element to be clickable, or web element to be visible, or web element to be something operation, right? As and when it is clickable or it is visible, so it will click on that particular thing, right? And after that it will not wait. So that is the difference between implicit and explicitly wait. What is fluent wait? Suppose in the explicitly wait you mentioned, right, like you need to wait a particular condition to be met for some time, right? But suppose you have given suppose 30 minutes time, right? But obviously if you want to wait for 30 minutes, so it will sometime it can get problem, right? So instead of that you are declaring total 30 minutes, but you are giving some time out as 10 seconds. So you are giving three interval. So every time 10 seconds it will try to check whether the element is visible or clickable or not. If in case it is visible, so it will click it. So that is called fluent wait. The importance of fluent wait is to tell WebDriver to wait for a condition, as well as the frequency with which we want to check the condition before throwing an element not visible exception. So if total timeout is 30 seconds and if fluent wait is 10 seconds, so it will wait for three different sets, 10, 10, 10. Every time it will try to check. In case after 30 minutes elapsed it is not, object is not identifiable, so it will give you element not visible exception. So syntax is for we need to wait the wait class. You need to create a object or instance using the wait class. New fluent wait, you need to pass the driver with timeout seconds dot polling every timeout you need to give. So every total timeout is 30 seconds, and if you give 10 seconds, so every time it will check it, right, ignoring exception on class. What are the few important expected condition we need to use in explicit wait? Whether alert is present or not. Whenever we are looking for any alert, obviously in case alert is present, so obviously it will not wait, right? Explicit wait in case you element to be clickable, element to be selected, whether we need to, whether it's enabled or clickable or not, whether enable is selected or not. Presence of all element located by, we can check it. Presence of element located also. Text to be present in element. Suppose if you want to validate particular text is present or not, as and when like particular text is present, so it will not wait, right? It will click on the operation, it will perform the operation. Text to be present in all element located. Text to be present in element value. Title is, suppose in case we want to click for the title, check for the title, so as and when title is verified, so it will perform the operation. If you want to check the title contains some value, visibility of some field, visibility of element, visibility of element located by or located. So for all these important condition we can use the explicitly wait. As and when the condition will be met, so it will not be there and it will continue to the next step. What are the common exceptions we can add in the Selenium WebDriver during scripting? Element not visible. Although the element is present in the right in the web page, but maybe something that it can be hidden, right? So in case it is hidden, obviously if you want to perform some operation, obviously it will not be right clickable, or you are not able to perform it. So obviously it will throw some element not visible exception. Element not selected exception. Although the element is present in the your web page, but it is disabled, right? Okay, based on some condition disabled. So obviously you can't check it, right? So it will throw you some error, right? Element not selectable exception. No such element found in case suppose WebDriver is unable to identify element during runtime, right? Suppose you have created ID, given ID or created a XPath, or maybe created a CSS or given some right name, but after some time whenever you are executing it, maybe it got changed, right? So obviously WebDriver will not able to find the element, right? So no such element exception will be thrown. No such frame exception. Suppose whenever you have kept some frame was there, right? And after that you want to switch the frame, okay, and but during execution maybe frame number got changed, or maybe frame is no longer valid, right? So driver is switching to invalid frame which is not available. So no such frame exceptions will be triggered in the Selenium WebDriver. No alert present exception, right? Suppose whenever you coded your script, right, there were some exception if you are not entering the mandatory field value, but after that mandatory field value has been list has been changed. So right now, right, if you want to click on the submit button without entering mandatory field also, right now no alert will be there because mandatory field condition has been changed, so it will not give you the alert, right? So at that time, but you already scripted your code using that alert should be present, right? And already scripted that alert should be handled. So at that time no alert present exception will be triggered. No such window exception. Suppose during different kind of stuff, right? We can switch the window, right? Suppose you are opening different browser, right? We can, if you want to switch the window parent to child like that, right? But divert you already switching to invalid window, that time no such window exception will be time, I mean given. Timeout exceptions, the command did not complete in enough time, i.e. element did not display in the specified time encountered when working with wait. Suppose you have been given the fluent wait or maybe implicit wait, explicit wait, suppose 30 minutes, 30 seconds. But in the time also that particular object is not visible, right? And if you want to click on the perform the operation, so obviously it will give you timeout exception. WebDriver exception, WebDriver is performing the action immediately after closing the browser, so at that time it will WebDriver exception will be thrown. How we can upload a file using Selenium WebDriver, right? It is nothing, right? Just like first you need to identify the web element, right? And after that, using the send keys, we need to pass the path of the file, right? So that it will work. So uploading files in WebDriver is done by simply using the send keys method on the file select input field to enter the path of the file to be uploaded. You can see, right? Web element browsers and driver.5 element. I am identifying the element. Then we are just sending the keys and the path of the element, right? Including the text, CSV, Excel, or I mean that particular document file, right? What is the XPath? Why we need to use it, right? You already know, right? Whenever we are, I mean, talking about the element locator, right? There can be ID, there can be name, class, partial link text, right? Tag name, and XPath and CSS Selector. These are the 8 different techniques available. In case for a particular web element, ID, class, and name is not available, right? So obviously it will not be possible to, I mean, identify the element and the perform the operation. So at that time, you need to create the XPath, right? So XPath is defined as XML path. It is syntax or language for finding an element on the web page using XML path expression. XPath is used to find the location of any element on a web page using the HTML DOM structure. So apart from name and class and ID, there will be a lot of, I mean, HTML attribute will be there, right? Value, positions, right? Text like that. Okay. So using that, you can create your own XPath and you can highlight the element, and after that, you can perform the operations. So XPath are used to locate element which does not have any ID, class, or name. So this is the syntax. First, you need to give this double slash, then tag name, then attribute name at the rate and value. In case you are not sure about the tag name, so you can give double slash and star asterisk mark in attribute name and value. Suppose attribute name is text, right? You can give the value. Suppose attribute name is value, you can give it. Attribute name is type, you can give it text. Similar way, you can use the multiple attribute also, and you can create your own custom XPath. What is CSS selector? So I already told you, right? In case suppose ID, name, all this thing is not available, so you need to either create your own XPath or CSS selector. So CSS selectors are string pattern used to identify an element based on a combination of HTML tag, ID, class, and attribute. Locating by CSS selector is the most common locating strategy of advanced Selenium users because it can access even those elements that have no ID or frame. So it is browser independent. Suppose in case you are creating for iBrowser, it will also applicable for the Chrome or Firefox browser. That is the major advantage of CSS selector. CSS selector is used by browser to target specific HTML element and apply styles. For browsers, um, for web browser automations, Selenium WebDriver uses CSS selector to locate and perform an actions on an object instead of applying a style. So this is the syntax for creating the CSS selector, right? HTML tag, and you need to give the attribute and value. So this is really easy compared to XPath, right? So you can see XPath double slash tag name at the rate attribute name and equal to and right value. Here only simple the HTML tag name and the third bracket and attribute and value, right? You can give, I am giving some sample example, right? Input type equal to submit or input ID equal to like that. Okay. And what are the advantages of CSS selector? So it is very much faster, it is more readable, and we can use it for multiple time very often. What are the difference between XPath and CSS selector have? So using XPath you can traverse both forward and backward, whereas CSS selector only moves forward. What does it mean by forward and backward, right? So suppose you have already created a XPath for parent, right? So for parent to child is possible. Similarly, CSS selector also possible. But if you identify an XPath for child, right? So using the XPath you can traverse from child to parent, whereas from CSS it will not allow. Okay. So backward will not be allowed. Only forward is possible in CSS. CSS selector is faster as compared to XPath because CSS selector is very much easy to write, less code will be there, but that is the reason it is faster. CSS selector is easy to write as compared to XPath. I already showed you. But one disadvantage of CSS selector is that CSS selector does not allow to create a selector based on the text content, whereas Xpath does. So if any text is available, so using the text you can create your own Xpath, but whereas for CSS it will not allow you. That functionality is not available with the CSS. How to select any particular text using the Selenium WebDriver, right? First you need to provide the right URL diver.get URL need to be passed. Then you need to create a web element. Suppose item text I am creating, need to give the right part, identify the web element by Xpath, right? And it will contain some word, right? Text Selenium WebDriver. Okay. So once the text we can identify using the Xpath and we can store it to web element, then we need to use the action class available in the WebDriver. We need to create an object for instance, then new action driver, and then using the action instance we need to double click and you need to provide the particular right term, particular text web element, and we need to build that platform so that it will be taken, right? It will select it the whatever text will be available in the web page. How to perform drag and drop in the Selenium WebDriver? So similarly also you need to use the action class. You need to create an object or instance. You need to pass the driver object here, and then actions dot drag and drop, that method you need to use it, and you need to provide the source locator and target locator, then dot build dot perform operations. How to enter a value a text without calling the send key? So you know, right, for any kind of text we after web element identification is done, we can pass the value using the dot send key, right? In case send key suppose it is not working, so there is another options, javascript executor is there, through which we can also pass the send key. So JavaScript executor, you need to create an object for instance and you need to typecast WebDriver, right? In the JavaScript executor. Then JS dot instance is created, instance dot execute script document dot get element by ID. You need to give the ID, right? Dot value. You need to pass it. Similarly, you can also password field. You can also pass it. So ID and password field. If you want to pass it first, you need to create an object for instance for using the JavaScript executor. Then execute script method you need to use it. The document dot first you need to get element. Then you need to pass the value. In case send key is not working. How to launch Chrome browsers? First criteria is that you need to have Chrome browser installed in your systems. Then corresponding to the version of the Chrome browser, you need to have your Chrome drivers. So once those things is available, you need to use the system.set property webdriver.chrome.driver, and you need to give the path of the Chrome exe driver exe file path, right? And you need to use the WebDriver, right? Particular class, and need to create an object, then new Chrome driver. So also you need to call the new Chrome driver, right? You need to import both the class from the package Selenium packages. So once the driver is created, you can perform any operation, right? You can maximize the drivers, right? You can maximize the browser. You can get some get some URL, right? You can pass some URL so that URL will be open. How to launch any Explorer browsers, Internet Explorer browser, any URL? First, similarly, like you need to first install the browser, and also you need to install the IE driver corresponding to the versions matching with the IE browsers, right? Then syntax is system.set property webdriver.ie.driver. Similarly, here it was webdriver.chrome.driver, it will be webdriver.ie.driver, and the path of the exe file of the IE driver, right? You need to use the WebDriver class, create driver object, and new Internet Explorer driver. That is the difference. Here we are using the Chrome driver class. Here you need to use Internet Explorer class available in the Selenium jar files, right? You need to driver.get. You need to provide the URL, whatever you want to open it. After the URL is provided, open, you can get the title, you can get the page source codes, and you can click identify another element of the web page, and you can perform some operations. What is the difference between single and double slash in this Xpath? So single slash start selection from the document node, right? It allows you to create absolute path expression, whereas double slash start selection matching anywhere in the document. It enables to create the relative path expression. So in the Selenium WebDriver, relative XPath is obviously safe, because whenever we are creating with the absolute XPath, sometimes in case some of the syntax is got changed or some tables or other things introduced, so it will not be able to recognize it. But if you go for with particular difference it, right, obviously there is a less chances that it will be changes, so obviously it will prefer to use the double slash for the relative XPath creation. but we should not use the single slash for the absolute export in the Selenium WebDriver much. How we can perform the double click operation in the Selenium WebDriver? You need to use the action class, right? You available in the Selenium WebDriver. You need to create an object instance. New action, you need to press the driver instance. Then action or double click, and you need to provide the web element. So that on the web element, double click operation will perform. So that's the 25 questions from Selenium WebDriver interview question and answer set to. Thank you.